and you're very welcome to July's episode of Full Volume. I'm your host, Alan Lynch, and I'm here with Gary Parkinson. Gary, how are you?
Hello, I'm all right, yes.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. July is looking like it's going to be crazy busy, Gary. I know we mentioned last month was crazy, but this month is crazy. So we're going to go through everything that's happening here at Central. But before that, we can't not talk about football, Gary. And I know it's not normally it's certainly not my domain, but it has been everywhere, hasn't it? I have to say one thing, that I'm not a football fan, but I do love its ability to bring people together.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I have no interest in football, but they were saying exactly that it's a very unifying thing.
I just wanted to ask you a quick question, Gary. In the spirit of the month that's in it, it is the World Cup. It only comes around every 4 years.
If you must.
We have to try and embrace it a little bit, don't we? So I'm going to forego a question about books, which is what I normally ask you, because of course we are a library podcast. But I've got a question about football and the World Cup. Okay, I want to test your knowledge.
Yeah.
Can you tell me in which country and in what year was the very first World Cup held? What country and what year?
In what country was it held?
In what country was it held, the very first ever World Cup, and in what year?
I believe I know who won.
Well, that's not the question.
Because you don't know the answer.
I have no idea the answer to that. But I can find out probably if I scroll down a bit further in this AI overview I have. We need country and the year in which the first ever World Cup was held.
Where would it be? I'm imagining it would have been in Europe. No. See, Uruguay.
Uruguay is correct. How did you do that? Now you're honestly taking the proverbial. How did you know that?
Yeah, I'm a secret football fan.
I secret clairvoyant or something, I think. So, yeah, it was in Uruguay. It was in Uruguay. But can you tell me, and honestly, if you get this, I'm going to pass out, what year?
Probably, well, I'm guessing it's... I was going to say after the Second World War, but now I'm thinking it's before. So I'm going to say 1952.
1952. No, you're out by 22 years. I'm sorry. I'm glad you didn't get it, because you would have really freaked me out if you'd have gotten that. It was on the 30th of July, 1930.
Oh, wow.
Was the very first. So it was pre-Second World War. And yeah, July 13th to July 30th. So it was only 2 weeks long back then. We need to bring that back.
Yes,
because it's been 6 weeks, hasn't it? It's been 6 very long weeks. Well, 4 so far. 2 more to go. So yeah, well done for getting Uruguay. But sadly, no, it is in 1930 for all football fans out there. First ever World Cup. Speaking of the World Cup, I had a chance to have a chat with Chris Atkinson. He's one of our service developing coordinators, obsessed with football, obsessed. And then Antonio, who is the loveliest chap. He's from Cadiz in Spain, works here at the library. I just asked them how they felt about this World Cup and to give us, to let us know who they think is going to win. And we're going to hold their feet to the fire come next Sunday.
I'm guessing one of them said England and the other one said Spain.
Yeah, that's how it worked out. Yeah, that's how it worked out in the end. So we'll speak to Chris and the lovely Antonio in just a wee bit. I'll play that bit out for you. Also on the podcast today, we're going to start with a feature we done for Punk Day.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for about a year now. If you were a punk, or if you feel like maybe you're a modern day punk, you don't need to be anywhere else apart from Central Library. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. I had a chat with the lovely David Nolan. He wrote a book quite a few years ago about punk. It was called I Swear I Was There.
Yes.
And he has reissued it over the years, and now there's kind of a new version, and he's added a few bits in. He's got some more new stories to tell, so he reckons he's got lots of new stuff. For those of you who think you've maybe heard this story, well, you haven't.
Yeah, because it's not just random that we're doing Punk Day. It's the 50th anniversary of the Sex Pistols gig
should mention
at
that,
Free Trade Hall.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, and David's book was I Swear I Was There, because there's this kind of folklore.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a myth now, isn't it?
Everybody says they were there.
It's mythical nearly now.
From Morrissey to Tony Wilson.
Well, apparently Morrissey was there.
Was he?
I don't know Morrissey that well. I don't know, I'm defending him. But apparently Morrissey was there. Also on to this month's podcast, the Love Festival is coming to Manchester Central Library again. It's a brilliant festival. If you love, then you're going to love this. If you love and you love reading. So the Love Fest is coming back to Central Library, like we said. We're going to speak with Alice and Sarah Jade. Sadly, I think if you're listening to this, it is pretty much sold out. There's only a few tickets left, so if you go to Library Live, If you really fancy the Love Festival, you'd have to be very quick because it is probably going to sell out. And last but not least, the Summer Reading Challenge 2026 is upon us again. It's just kicked off. And I had a chat with Mona. She popped in to tell us all about that. We'll play out that audio for you later. Alongside some audio I got when I went to Beswick Library. We sat down with the boys. They're both taking part in the Summer Reading Challenge. We spoke to Edward in particular about the books he's going to read. But also, he's a mad football fan. He's just been signed up by City, actually. So I asked him about how he's been enjoying the World Cup. Okay, so packed show. Let's get on with it. You're listening to Full Volume.
All right, so we're going to kick off with Punk Day, which is really exciting. It's kind of a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Sex Pistols gig at Manchester Free Trade Hall. Yeah. And you, Alan, spoke to David Nolan, who's written a book called I Swear I Was There, Sex Pistols Manchester and the Gig that Changed the World, because so many people claim to have been there.
They do claim to have been there.
Yeah, so anyway, you sat down with David Nolan and asked him where his fascination with punk came, how he became a punk, how he got interested in it.
I was a suburban kid and I was, like lots of people, absolutely knocked sideways by punk and particularly Buzzcocks, because the notion that a band could come from sort of near where I lived in Manchester, even though it's actually the other side of Manchester, just blew me away. And like lots of people now, you can spot us old punks a mile off. We don't have sticky up hair, we don't have leather jackets, but I think the cut of our jib, you can tell us.
And we were talking before we pressed record about how important that gig was, because you mentioned Buzzcocks, and I don't think we'd have a lot of these fantastic bands who've gone down in history without that gig having happened. Would you agree?
That's right. I mean, lots of people, just regular folks who were in the audience that night, looked at the Pistols in a very Mancunian sort of way, which is not, I could do that. It was, I could do better than that. Yeah. And that's a very, very Manchester way of looking at it. So Buzzcocks organised the gig, basically so that they could play, but they weren't ready, so they had to get a prog rock band from Bolton in instead, called Solstice. The lads who formed Joy Division were there, and then of course there's a second gig. Morrissey was there. He wrote a rather snotty, I nearly said email there, a letter. This is 1976, so we didn't have letters. He wrote a slightly snotty letter to the enemy about it, and then the Pistols came back 6 weeks later, which is where the confusion comes from between the two gigs. And then, between the two gigs, then you've got people who went on to form The Fall, Factory Records, Hacienda. So then you can start stretching it out then to, well, no Hacienda, no dance, no dance crossover, no Buzzcocks, no Green Day, no Joy Division, no Interpol. Amazing.
And I think this is incredible. I read this too. You might correct me as well on this one, but apparently it was a 50p entrance fee.
Yeah,
is that right?
The records are actually in this building, in a dusty box somewhere. So, and they only
sold some old ticket stubs or something like that.
The record showing this is how much the tickets cost, and this is how much they made by renting out the Free Trade Hall. Wow! So we know that there was only 28 tickets sold for June the 4th, 1976. Only 28 tickets sold. So if you add on a few hangers-on and a few mates and a few people who, as we used to say, gegged in, then probably about 40 odd people.
What do you think it was about punk? What was the message, and what do you think today, the musical landscape, what does it owe to punk?
Well, I mean, you look back at the 75, 76, the charts, it was comedy records, novelty records, things like that. People moan about prog rock, but prog didn't really trouble the charts. It was an album thing. So there was nothing really there. So that was the first time there was something that was for us. Not for my big brother or my big sister or my mum or my dad, for us. Yeah. And particularly the way that we dealt with it in Manchester, we didn't form loads of, Sex Pistols, punk-alike kind of bands. We just took it in a different direction, and you imagine a world now, a musical world, where the Smiths, Buzzcocks, Joy Division, New Order, The Fall didn't exist. The entire musical landscape would be different. So we can trace all of that back to that 50p spent on Peter Street on a very, very warm June night in 1976.
Changing everything, really, if only we'd known.
The gig that changed the world.
So I know you're on Punk Day. We've got John Robb in as well and Ian Key. You're familiar with both John and Ian?
I know John well. I know Paul Hanley very well as well, who's, I think, interviewing Ian. I've never met Ian before, so that'll be a nice treat. And I've got lots of new stuff that no one's seen before. So I'm going to, new photos, new stories, new things about the gigs that no one's ever seen before. So they will see that on the Punk Day. And then straight afterwards, I'm going to put it on our new site, which is called Cult Manchester, telling the full story of this stuff that no one's seen before until they come along to the Punk Day.
Brilliant. And then finally, have you heard Dead Stilettos? Because we have Dead Stilettos playing a few songs for us on the day as well. Have you seen them play? Are they good?
I had a quick Google, as is my, as I believe the young people say. So yeah, it's Bangor Bar Street. It's good to have a young band on there rather than, no offence, the old fellas. You know? Let's get the young uns on board. That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah. See the new generation and see how they're doing it.
Totally.
Well, listen, thank you very much for coming in. The best of luck on the day. We'll see you on the day for sure, and I hope it goes really well.
Cheers.
Okay, on to our big feature for this month. The Love Festival's coming up very soon, and I have two ladies. One is in the studio, one is on the phone. Sarah Jade Virtue, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Thank you for having us.
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for coming on our podcast. And in the studio, we have Alice Murphy-Pyle. So, Alice, how are you? Are you okay?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's nice to meet you too. Okay, we want to talk a little bit about the festival. It's coming up in July, but I just wanted to ask, first off, tell us a bit about the history of this. How did it get off the ground? Whose idea was it? And how's it all going for you?
It was back in early September 2023, and Alice and I were having a coffee and a slice of cake, and we were moaning because what felt like 3,826 crime and thriller literary festival had just been announced, and there still wasn't one for lovers of love stories. So we were sipping our lattes and ranting and raving, and one of us, and I don't know if Alice remembers, but I genuinely can't remember which of us said, should we just do it ourselves? A week or so later, I was actually up in Manchester for another event, and Alice invited me to pop in to meet with Danny Middleton at Manchester Central Library. And quite frankly, the rest is history. He showed us the secret chief librarian's door, and we were off.
Yeah.
We reached out to loads of our favourite authors for that first year. So in 2024, we had 28 authors. In 2025, we had 39. And this year, we've got 42. So,
wow.
Yeah, it feels huge and momentous and fabulous.
That's a really good upward trajectory, isn't it? Yeah, you've been going from strength to strength.
Yeah.
I was at the event last year. It was raucous. It was so much fun. Everyone was having a great time. It's one of those festivals where I think it's a lot of fun as well. It's about reading and it's about love stories, but everybody was having a great time. I presume you were there last year, Alice, were you?
I was on the stage interviewing the authors,
Yeah. Well, it's a fantastic event. I hope it goes great for you this year. What is it about the theme? I'm just curious. I know romantic and novels about love, they're some of the biggest selling genre in the country, isn't it? They sell. But do you have a love of that? Are you romantic people? And what was it about love and romance stories that you wanted to highlight rather than, I don't know, you mentioned crime being overdone a bit. Of all the subjects in the world, what was it? Maybe you can tell us, Alice, what was it about love that you thought, well, look, this might work?
Yeah, well, I've always been a romance reader from being probably about 11 or 12. My sister had a copy of The Man Who Made Husbands Jealous by Jilly Cooper, and I used to read it, and my eyes were popping out of my head. And then later on in my career, I worked at Simon & Schuster with Sarah Jade, and worked with people like Jackie Collins, and then I worked at Penguin Random House and ended up working with Jilly Cooper as well. So I've always been a big reader. And there are lots of crime festivals. I think it's quite hard sometimes to get romance readers to turn out.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to have this space for romance readers, and we noticed that there were no crime festivals, but there were no romance festivals in Manchester. So Sarah Jade and I were saying, we should have a romance festival in Manchester. And then we were like, well, maybe we'll do it. So I think the library was so supportive, and Danny and Dorothy were so up for having us and welcoming us and allowing us to use the space. So it's been fantastic.
That's part of it, isn't it? Having that venue to host it in, and then having people like the wonderful team next door, where we're in Central Library, by the way, so we give people context. And Danny works next door, but he's wonderful, isn't he? And the space is wonderful. So, I mean, that must have given you great impetus to say, like you said, let's just go and do it.
Well, it's just so amazing because, I mean, I used to revise here for my GCSEs and my A-levels when I was a teenager. I grew up in Staley Bridge, so I used to come to Central Library because I found it so inspirational. So to be running a festival here is just absolutely amazing. It's just mind-blowing.
It is a great venue.
I think that northern writing and literature and reading scene has just absolutely exploded in the last 10 years, particularly since we've been a city of literature. It's just fantastic. So we're really proud to have our contribution to it.
I'll be honest with you, when I first came up, when I don't know if I'd ever been outside of just clubbing down Canal Street back in my youth. When I first came up, I literally thought it was like a mini St Paul's. I could not believe it occupied, like the space was occupied by a library. It's the most wonderful, beautiful, stunning building. And we are, as Alice says, we are, completely bowled over that we get to be in that space now, once a year and have readers and writers and, industry professionals that are affiliated with the love stories that we love join us. It is, as you say, a huge celebration of the genre.
I don't want to put you on the spot because probably you know lots of authors, but just before you go, do we have a new Jilly Cooper on the horizon? Because I feel like maybe there's nobody that is that omnipresent or linked with sort of love or racy novels in the way that Jilly Cooper was. So is there anyone on the horizon or a young author who you think has the potential to maybe become the next Jilly?
Well, I think...
Can I get in here? Because
of course you can.
I think, controversially, I love Jilly Cooper's books. I've read her all of my life. But when I first started reading in the genre, you picked a side. You were either horses, posh people in the countryside, and in which case you were, a devotee of Jilly Cooper. Or you were the slightly more racy life of the Jackie Collins. I was the Jackie Collins side of life.
Were you a Jilly or a Jackie, Alice?
I was Jilly first.
I was a Jackie devotee.
I do love Jackie.
They were both great, weren't they,
so,
to be fair? But do you think there's someone in the world who has the potential to maybe go on and become somebody who's as a household name like that?
Well, it's really interesting because my sense is that publishers have tried over the last 20 years, really, all the time I've been in publishing, to, have this like new bonkbuster, a new horsey author. And I think there's nobody really who's kind of snatched the crown. And I think those, the writers who are kind of coming to the forefront maybe in the last 20 years, so people like Vari McFarlane, I absolutely love Jenny Colgan, Mike Gale obviously is absolutely amazing. We're so lucky to have both Jenny, Vari and Michael came last year, and I think those, if you're a fan of Jilly, there are so many other authors out there that are amazing and really, really interesting, so I think nobody will ever quite replace Jilly.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming in. Lovely to meet you, and thanks very much, Sarah, as well. It's been lovely to talk to you. The best of luck on the day. I hope it goes incredibly well for you.
Thanks so much, Alan. It's lovely to chat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, Alan.
All right, okay, you have to have been living under a rock, I think, for the past month to not realise that the World Cup is in full swing. And, of course, loads of staff here at the library absolutely love football. I've got Antonio here, who's from Spain, and Chris, who is the most English man I think I've ever met, but a big lover of football. Let's start with you. It's been quite a controversial World Cup for many reasons. The weather, the altitude, America.
Hydration breaks.
Yes, hydration breaks.
Pointless hydration breaks.
Yeah, we won't get into that. But in terms of England, tell us. So, firstly, were you expecting us to get this far? And how have you felt as a fan?
If you'd asked me prior to the Mexico game, I would have said we might not have got through or got past Mexico because of how tough the game would have been. Not to mention it's 2,000 feet above sea level. The air is different. The temperature. Not to mention the stadium. I mean, Mexico's not lost there in like 30 odd games, something like that.
That was pretty incredible because I think going in, nobody thought we were going to go forward. I
mean, I woke up this morning, very early this morning to watch it, and you could see how physically hostile just going into that stadium must have been.
Well, Spain started also dubious at the play, but not on the numbers actually, because nobody scores against us. Yes, because our way to understand the game, touching, all the time is possession. But now our players are improving their performance. Probably, well, if everything goes well for us, France is going to be our rival in semi-finals.
So that will people tune in for that purely because of the rivalry between Spain and France then?
Yeah. The other possibility would be Argentina-England, what would be a remake of that 1986 with Maradona. So, yeah.
I can see Chris isn't happy. Okay, so listen, we'll have to wrap it up, but I want both of you to make a prediction then. Okay, now clearly you want Spain to win, clearly you want England to win, but I'm going to ask you, Chris, who do you think is going to win this year's World Cup?
If it's not England, I would say France are looking very good.
And what about you, Antonio?
Well, for me, the most strongest from the beginning has been France and Argentina. But the thing is, I would not like to see again the same final of 4 years ago. So I think I would love to be Argentina again because, well, I'm an Argentinian lover.
Okay, Chris, you've agreed to play a round of this and that. We've done this a few times on the podcast. What I'm going to do is name some English footballers who have been capped for England. Okay. So you just have to say which one you prefer as we go through. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let's kick it off. Alan Shearer or Jeff Hurst?
Shearer.
Alan Shearer or Bobby Moore?
Oh, Bobby Moore.
Bobby Moore or Steven Gerrard?
Gerrard.
Gerrard or Gordon Banks?
Gerrard.
Gerrard or Harry Kane?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane or David Beckham?
Beckham.
It's a tough one, that.
Beckham.
Beckham or Peter Shilton?
Beckham.
Beckham or John Terry?
Beckham.
Beckham or Paul Scholes?
Beckham.
Beckham or Jude Bellingham?
Beckham.
Beckham wins that one as well. Okay, I'm surprised at that. Yeah. Beckham or Michael Owen?
Michael Owen.
Michael Owen or Gary Lineker?
Michael Owen.
Michael Owen or Paul Gascoigne?
My goodness, Paul Gascoigne. Paul Gascoigne.
Yeah. Paul Gascoigne or Bobby Charlton?
Charlton.
And finally, Bobby Charlton or Frank Lampard?
Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard nips it in the end.
Yeah.
Well done, Chris. Thank you very much. Right, we're on to the Summer Reading Challenge. It's back again for 2026. Read to the beat. It's changed a bit this year. The lovely Mona, who's part of the children's team over in THX, she popped over last week to explain how it's all going to work.
It's all about music and reading. So it's going to be about the rhythm of music combined with storytelling from stories that you'll find in your local library.
Okay, so this year it's called Read to the Beat. So you're hoping to incorporate some music into the reading challenge this year. Is that the plan?
That's the plan. So we've got some amazing things coming up. It's a free summer reading challenge where we're combining the rhythm of music with the magicalness of storytelling through books, all about reading and enjoying music at the same time.
And also maybe a little challenge as well, because the idea is that the kids decide how many books they're going to want to read.
It's actually different this year. We are going down to 4. So our strapline will be read 4 or more to enter the prize draw. So we want children to read and set their own targets this year. So they might read 1 and it might be really, really long. And that's them, that's their own target. They can have their medal and certificate for reading that. But if you want to enter the prize draw, then it's going to be read 4 or more.
And tell everybody, what is the prize? What can people win?
There are multiple prizes. There is a £100 voucher for a main winner. There's 2 £50 vouchers. We've got about 44 goodie bags to give away, and we've got 8 amazing book review prizes.
So if somebody wants to take part, we know they can come into the library and pick up the promotional pack and get started that way. What if you're not near a library but you want to take part in this? Is there any options for anybody?
There's an online option. So if you Google Summer Reading Challenge, you'll be taken to the online site where you can enter and do the challenge just as you would do in the library, but you'll be reading your own books, and you can come into the library and get your medal and certificate. That's absolutely fine. We're encouraging everyone to try it in a different way.
We're here at Beswick Library, and I've got some special guests on the podcast today. Firstly, you're going to say hello to Tracy. Tracy's sitting opposite me here. Tracy works at Central Library, and Tracy Tracy has brought along Edward and Elliot, who are her grandsons. And we're here to talk about Summer Reading Challenge primarily, but I know that both of you, and Tracy as well, crazy about football. We all know it's World Cup fever at the minute, so I'm going to talk to you first, Edward. A little birdie tells me that you might even be a future World Cup star because you're currently signed up with City to do some training, aren't you? Tell us about that.
I'm really enjoying it, and I like it.
So what is it about football? Have you always been into football? I know Tracy told me you've got a big sporty family. What is it particularly about football that you love?
I love passing and tackling, yeah.
And with the World Cup, I know England have been doing quite well, but it's been a bit of a rocky road, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And player-wise, who's your favourite player on the team? Are you happy with the manager?
Yeah, I'm happy with the manager, and my favourite football player is
Jude Bellingham is your favourite player. Why him?
Because when we played against Mexico, he had it in the goal.
And are you hopeful that if we were to get to the final, England could win the World Cup?
Yeah,
Do you think we have it in us?
Yeah, we have
You
a
do?
chance. I think we have a chance.
And when you watch football, do you think about yourself in a few years' time scoring goals like that?
Yeah.
You put yourself in that position, do you? That's fantastic. Brilliant. Well, the best of luck to you. I hope you have a great footballing career. I've said to Tracy before, I'd love nothing more. Maybe we can listen back to this podcast in 10 years and people will say that's the first time that you were recorded on a podcast. But the reason you're here today is for the Summer Reading Challenge, because every year libraries across Manchester have a Summer Reading Challenge. We ask kids to take up reading. They decide to read a few books, and the challenge is to see how many you can get through over the summer. So you brought a few books for us. Tell us which ones you're going to read. Are you planning on reading these as part of the challenge? Tell us about what you're reading.
So I'm reading Rabbit, Bear and a Woodpecker doesn't get off the tree because he keeps banging and banging the tree, and there's a woodpecker in the tree, and he doesn't get off his tree because he keeps eating and banging the tree, and the rabbit bear are trying to get them down, and they're best friends.
Well, that sounds like a great adventure. And what about this one? Do you like Horrid Henry? I see you've got Horrid Henry's Underpants. You're planning on reading that one as well. What's that one about?
Margaret and Horrid Henry have a little fight over underpants, and then Horrid Henry won the underpants.
Brilliant. Get in a fight and win some underpants. A regular day for me, pretty much. Well, listen, thank you very much. So you're aiming for 2 books, are you, over the summer? You're going to go for more. But if you read 4, then you enter into a competition and win some great prizes.
All right.
So you're going to aim for 4, are you?
Yeah.
Now, I want to come over here and talk to little Elliot. Elliot's got a fantastic smile. Elliot's your little brother, and he's got the most fantastic hat on. Tell us, we're in the library. Do you like reading, Elliot? Are you just learning to read now?
Yeah.
And if you, what do you think would be the first book you're going to read? Have you got anything in mind?
Harry McClary.
Harry McClary. Tell us about Harry McClary. Who is Harry McClary?
So she is a dog, and she has friends, and they also have loads of books. Harry McClary, Twix, Harry McClary, Stannis and Starry.
Harry McClary, it's all changed from my day. Mallory Towers was about as exciting as it got for me back in the day. Do you have a favourite player on the team? Who's your favourite player?
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice.
Oh, yeah, Declan Rice.
Well, listen, the best of luck with England for next Sunday. We'll come back to you after the Summer Reading Challenge is over and you can tell us how you got on. Is that okay?
Yeah. All right.
Hi Alan, yes, I'm here again with this month's From the Archives, the part of the podcast where we dip into the Piccadilly Radio Archives that we are home to here at Central Library. So I'm going to pick out another choice clip from yesteryear, and with football fever sweeping the UK right now, it only seems right to dig out a clip from 1994 that highlights all the excitement that comes with a World Cup final. Reporting on the gripping Italy versus Brazil contest of that year, have a listen on this Piccadilly Radio gem.
So came the World Cup. Irish eyes smiled as they beat Italy, but joy was short-lived. In the end, it was Brazil who took the trophy, as Robert Baggio, of all people, missed a penalty in the shootout. Italy were runners-up. Romario was player of the tournament, and that was a name United would remember.
Baggio comes forward, it's over the bar! Would you believe it? Baggio blunders! Brazil win the 1994 World Cup! And the cup is presented to Dunga of Brazil! Brazil, the first ever champions of the world for a 4th time.
Okay, that's just about it for this month. Thank you very much for tuning in to Full Volume. I've been your host, Alan Lynch, joined by Gary Parkinson. Okay, you've got news on an evening with Alistair McGowan.
Alistair McGowan, the impressionist, comedian, actor. So he's coming here on the 13th of July. He's launching his book, which is called Like Never Before. It's free. Doors open at 5:40. And the event is 6 p.m. till 7:15.
And another event happening on the 16th as well. Bring your own vinyl workshop. I love this already. Bring your own vinyl workshop. Join us at the Henry Watson Music Library for a relaxed and beginner-friendly vinyl DJ workshop where everyone's welcome to bring a few favourite records.
Great.
Led by vinyl DJ and host Maya Muna. DJ Moo for short. I mean, I love that.
Okay.
This season is all about connection, creativity, and enjoying music together in a friendly social setting. Just before we go, I want to remind everybody of Sunday Fun Day. You'll know if you're a regular here at the library, maybe 4 or 5 times a year we have Sunday Fun Days. And it is Manchester Day at the end of the month, Gary. You know that, don't you?
I do.
Being a patriot like you are,
I'm
you'll
actually
know.
working on that Sunday Fun Day.
Oh, are you? Well,
So, yeah, if you want to come down and see what I look like, then
you can
I'll
pop
probably
in,
be
ask for
hiding.
Gary. Yeah. I think, but I have to shut the doors if it gets too busy here. This year's Manchester Day celebrates our city's cultural links with Barcelona.
Yeah.
So following Manchester's appearance at Barcelona's La Mercè Festival in 2025, artists from the city will return the visit. Alongside the international lineup, this year's event also includes a book-inspired theme. So we're always ready to celebrate here at Central Library. If you want to join us, please get in touch. It's going to be like, it says here, take a magical journey, to Narnia, or take a ride in the glass lift or elevator with Willy Wonka. What? The glass elevator.
We've actually got glass elevators
No,
in
we
the
do.
library.
I've never seen one of them go through the roof. No, that could be a first time for everything. But they also say you must avoid being recruited by Captain Hook, or you may have to walk the plank.
Oh, that's
Terrifying.
scary.
Terrifying. But it'll be fun. We'll keep it fun for everybody. That's Sunday Fun Day, Manchester Day 2026, and that is happening on the 26th of July. And then just a quick reminder before we go, running out of time, the Love Stories Etc. Festival, that is happening on the 17th of July and the 18th of July. It's a 2-day event. Like I said, tickets on Eventbrite, but it is almost nearly sold out, so please get tickets for this. Right, let's wrap things up, Gary. Thank you very much as per usual. You've been listening to Full Volume. This has been your July edition, and we shall see you again next month.
If you've enjoyed listening to the podcast and would like to support Manchester Library's educational and cultural activity, please visit the new Manchester Libraries Trust website at manchesterlibrariestrust.co.uk, where you can make a donation, join our Library Lover Scheme, or find out more about company support. Thank you.